executive branch.
No.
Possible to get more volume?
Like that.
I'm gonna work on it.
I think we're
That's
trying.
odd. Oregon law requires classes in constitutional studies starting in 8th grade and continuing through college. Anyway, it's the way it's supposed to be.
Okay.
But in reality, there are two sets of books, the acts of the legislature and the Oregon revised statutes. In between the legislative branch and the executive branch sits a lawyer. That's Dexter. He takes all the laws passed by the legislature and revises them. He writes the Oregon revised statutes, and that's what the cops enforce.
Wow. You're telling me all the police in Oregon, the Oregon State Police, sheriffs, Portland Police, city cops, they all enforce what this lawyer says instead of enforcing the laws passed by the legislature?
Yes. Actually, it's worse. Dexter drafts the bills that the legislature considers. So Dexter is the real author of most of the acts of the legislature.
Isn't that a lot of writing for one man to do?
He has a staff to help him. His title is Legislative Counsel, and his staff is called the Office of Legislative Counsel.
Isn't there a saying about how power corrupts? What if these revised statutes are misleading?
That's exactly what's happening.
For instance,
The cops think the law prohibits us from exercising our right to use our non-business automobiles on the public highways. The cops think everybody has to have a driver license, even if they're not using the roads for business purposes.
wait, doesn't everybody have to have a driver license?
We've all been told that everybody has to have a driver license for several decades, and it's all based on Dexter's misleading ORS.
I was told in high school driver's ed class that driving is a privilege.
Actually, that language is technically correct, because a driver is someone who's employed in conducting a motor car. But if you are not employed as a driver, and you're not hauling freight for hire, and you're not carrying fare-paying passengers, and you're not using your vehicle for compensation or profit, then the acts of the legislature do not require you to have a driver license or registration.
You're telling me there's no such thing as a license to use a non-business car?
That's right. Here's a letter from David Yearley at the Oregon Department of Transportation saying that the DMV has no licensing program for private, non-compensated use of an automobile on the public highways. And here's a letter from Dexter himself saying the session law that expanded the subject class of the vehicle code beyond operators for hire probably doesn't exist anywhere.
So the cops have been enforcing the law wrong all these years? I've never used my car for business, but I've gotten traffic tickets. Were those tickets illegal?
Did the cop have any reason to believe you were using your car for business?
No,
Then the tickets were illegal.
but the traffic judge agreed with the cop.
The ticket said you were operating a motor vehicle. Operating means for profit. Did you tell the judge you weren't using your car for profit?
No,
Then the judge didn't have to look beyond Dexter's misleading ORS. Actually, they're not judges. They're administrative hearings officers.
so why did I title and register my car? I thought the cops would pull me over for no plate.
Usually they do, because they are relying on Dexter's misleading ORS, which appears to require a license for everything. However, some of the cops are getting educated. There was this one car that sat parked on North Vancouver Street near Tillamook with no state plates and was also used for minor errands. It's a busy 4-lane street. Cops drive by several times a day. It's a one-way street, so the cops had to look at the plate. The car sat parked there in full view of the cops for 2 years. Here's what City of Portland lawyer Harry Auerbach filed in court. He quotes Dexter's misleading ORS, which defines operation as any operation. According to Harry, that means everybody has to have a driver license.
Wow, somebody should fix this. Has Dexter been told that the cops and lawyers misunderstand the law because they are relying on Dexter's misleading ORS?
Yes. In 2012, a member of our group surveyed all 36 Oregon sheriffs. 18 of them answered and said they enforce the vehicle code against non-business automobile users. Dexter was served by email with this package.
Service by email, is that official?
No. That's why 2 other members of our group went to Salem to serve him in person with a paper copy. One of them was arrested for trespassing while he was standing on the sidewalk.
Is Dexter breaking the law?
Yes. He's committing official misconduct in the first degree, failure to perform a duty clearly inherent in the nature of the office.
What duty does Dexter have?
Dexter has a duty not to alter the sense, meaning, effect, or substance of any act of the legislature when translating it into the ORS. By implication, Dexter also has a duty to correct existing alterations.
Can Dexter be arrested?
Yes, here's the private person arrest statute. We can arrest for any crime committed in our presence. And here's a statute that says we must take the arrested person before a magistrate. And here's a statute that says an Oregon Supreme Court judge is a magistrate.
How are you going to do it?
First, we are going to officially serve him with this package. It proves the vehicle code is a business regulation. It shows the sheriffs think the ORS requires a license for non-business automobiles. It demands he revise the ORS to make clear that the vehicle code is a business regulation. Then we're going to ask if he intends to revise the ORS to make it clear that the vehicle code is a business regulation. Then we're going to tell him he's under arrest and ask if he's going to submit to our authority or whether we must put a hand on his shoulder to complete the arrest. Then we're going to take him across the street before the Oregon Supreme Court.
What is the magistrate going to do?
We expect the magistrate to arraign him based on our sworn statements, but to don't have control of that. All we can do is hold up our end as citizens.
Are you going to record this on video?
Yes, we will report all these events. Then we will edit and publish a video.
Will all this cost money?
Yes, we need a camera with instant upload and travel expenses. Also, we expect that we will be arrested on bogus charges like last time, and we expect to need a fund to cover that.
How much will you need?
We estimate total expenses at $5,000.
Wow, that's a bargain. Will this be the first time that Oregon citizens have arrested a corrupt public servant?
As far as we know,
Will it be the last?
we hope not.
Okay, any questions? All right, thank you.
Okay,
Any
I would
person-
like to, if I might have 2 minutes to add a comment. One thing people get concerned about is like insurance, okay? Insurance by Oregon state law too is voluntary, and a person is liable for their own personal liability and responsibility, not the state corporation. Anyhow, I thank you very much for your time, for allowing this. So this way, it gets shown out and the people can understand that we do have lawful rights. Peace and God bless Jesus. Very much for your time.
All right, anyone else in the audience wish to address the council? Yes.
How long do I get? 5 minutes to where I'm aware of. Okay, I put together a little bit of a presentation I'd just like to share with you guys. I'm Christopher Robert of the family of Walker. And I just wanted to educate some of you if you're not aware of some of the laws of Oregon and of the United States. Article 1, Section 1 of the Oregon Constitution. Section 1, natural rights inherent in the people. We declare that all men, when they form a social compact, are equal in right, that all power is inherent in the people, and all free governments are founded on their authority. That would be the authority of the people, who grant such power to any government to secure and protect our rights. are unalienable rights. Common law is still the law of the land. Mulberry versus Madison remains one of the most quoted cases and has still never been overturned. If any statement within any law which is passed is unconstitutional, the whole law is unconstitutional. It's also Marbury versus Madison. Interpretation in favor of the people. Any unconstitutional provision intended to confer a benefit should be liberally construed in favor in the clearly intended expressly designated beneficiaries, which is the people of this country and of all these states. States cannot license rights. A state may not impose a charge for the enjoyment of a right granted by the federal Constitution, and that a flat license tax here involves restraints in advance to the Constitution, liberties of press and religion. No state may convert any secured liberty into a privilege and issue a license and a fee for it. That's Muduk v. Penn, 319 U.S. 105, 1943. If a state does convert your right into a privilege and issue a license and fee for it, you can ignore the license and a fee and engage that right with impunity. At Shellsworth v. Birmingham. On the Secretary of State's website, which is Kate Brown, under the Department of Transportation, the definition of operating a motor vehicle is operating a motor vehicle in Oregon means operating a motor vehicle for business purposes. If you look up any definition of business, it construes specifically to commercial activities. Now, our right to freely move upon the open highways is a right that cannot be altered or changed into a privilege, as the Oregon Department of Motor Vehicles evidently says that it's a privilege. The right of a citizen to travel upon the public highways and to transport his property thereon, either by carriage or by automobile, is not a mere privilege which a city may prohibit or permit at will, but a common right which he has under the right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Thompson v. Smith. Now there's about 100 different case laws that I could quote to you guys, but I obviously don't have time for that. Right now, I want to make you aware of some Oregon revised statutes that apply specifically to all city government. ORS 221.903, bonds and oaths of officers. The recorder, treasurer, and marshal mention, which marshal, it explains, is the chief of police. He holds the title of marshal. Shall before entering upon the duties of their respective offices, each execute a bond to the city in such penal sum as the council by ordinance may determine upon. Now, does everybody know what a bond is? You don't have to answer me, but I just want to ask that. For the faithful performance of duties, including in the same bond the duties of all offices of which the recorder, treasurer, and marshal is ex officio encumbered under. Everybody that works under any of you guys that are listed in city officers, which I'll explain in 1 second, you're responsible for their conduct and their behavior and them understanding the laws that are to be applied to people or corporations, private, public. It's your guys' responsibilities to inform them on that. City officers is 221.902, elective appointed terms. The mayor, alderpersons, recorder, treasurer, and marshal of a municipal corporation organized under sections 1 to 6, pages 119 to 123 of the Oregon laws of 1983 shall be elected to 2-year terms by the electors of the city. Each term of office shall commence the first Monday in January following the general election. The council may appoint an attorney, a superintendent of streets, a civil engineer, a municipal judge, and police and other subordinate officers, and fix their compensation. When it comes to the municipal courts, in the police department and the municipal court enforcing traffic violations, 221.344 is the registration of municipal courts, effective registration. A judgment docketed by a municipal court may be enforced in the manner provided for in ORS 221.346, enforcements of judgments of municipal courts, and 221.351, liens based on municipal court judgments. The municipality has And this is saying you're able to enforce a municipal court judgment if the municipality has registered the court with the Department of Revenue, and the municipality has provided to the Department of Revenue the name and address of a person authorized to act on behalf of the court. ORS 221.346, enforcements of judgments in municipal courts. This will be one more second, and then I'll be finished. Subject to the requirements of ORS 221.344, registration of municipal court, enforcement proceedings on a judgment docketed by a municipal court may include writ of execution proceedings for personal property under ORS 18.252 execution, 218.993 effective ORS 18.860 to 18.993 on court's ability to direct seizure. Proceedings in support of execution under ORS 18.265 debtor examination, and 18.268 conduct of debtor examination, and 18.270 written interrogatories. Garnishment proceedings under ORS 18.600 definitions to 18.850 challenge to garnishment form. In addition to the enforcement proceedings specified in subsection 1 of this section, a docketed municipal court judgment may be enforced by the court that rendered the judgment through the issuance of a writ of execution on real property under the statute of execution, which I just read. The provisions of this section apply to all judgments docketed in municipal courts, including judgments imposed in violation proceedings and other criminal proceedings. So what I'm saying right now is this municipal court, as well as 85% of the municipal courts in Oregon, are not registered with the Department of Revenue. So every docketed judgment that you have enforced is null and void. And people should and are going to state claims and relief for these injuries that the city and the Toledo Police Department has caused on people. Because you have no right to stop us. If there's no victim or no damaged property, there is no crime. The state cannot be a victim. And, you know, that's all I have to say. Thank you for your time, and I hope everybody gets a chance to educate themselves on some of this.
And there is 4 branches of government, not 3. The 4th branch is
It's
the
my
grand jury.
turn.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'll shut up.
Can I have a couple minutes?
We'll get right. Sure. I'll get it out. Gotta listen to it.
I'm not gonna read anything because that's all boring. I'm Laura, and I have some flyers here. It's got my phone number and an email address. And we are forming all across the nation common law grand juries. It's really exciting. It's really fun. It's something that the people should get involved. I want to let you know that I'm going to make myself available if anybody wants to talk to me about it, or if we want to set up maybe a meeting sometime and discuss this, and if anybody wants any flyers. Don't all jump up at once.
I'll take one.
Sure.
I figured you were gonna leave them by the door.
Can I do that? If you don't mind, I've got more.
No, you can leave them by the door.
Absolutely, just right on the table?
Okay. I want one first.
Sure. I also wanted to I know it's on the flyers and stuff, but I just kind of wanted to bring up, nationallibertyalliance.org is a great place to go and get a lot of wonderful information. Oregon will be forming their own website soon. I think it's OregonGrandJury.net will be ours. It's a work in progress, but this is grassroots. It started, and it's exciting, and I want to help. And we need to have discussion and dialogue so that people who do have concerns and problems can get more involved and be a part of the solution. This is a solution.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else wish to address the council? All right, seeing none. Next
Say goodbye.
section, everyone.
Say goodbye.
Committee update.